And it's good to see everyone here for the first meeting of the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners for 2018. At this time, we'd like to ask if you have a cell phone or other electronic device, if you please just turn it off till we get through with the meeting. And at this time, we're going to stand for the invocation, and you may stand at the Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we're able to come together for this first meeting of a brand new year. We thank you for all of your many blessings and for watching over us last year. And as we go into this new year, we just ask once again that you will guide all of our actions, our thoughts, our words, that we will do what is in the best interest of the people who live here in Meriwether County, and that we will be able to move forward. We thank you for everyone who is here in the audience today. We ask that you watch over them, and as they leave from here, we just ask for a safe trip back to our respective places. And we pray these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're here for the public hearing and want to speak, if you'll just come up and sign in. Are you here for the public hearing? Okay. All right. Being that it is the new year, we do have a few things that we need to take care of to begin with. And I'd like to start off by saying I do appreciate the opportunity to serve as the chairman the last 3 years. The main role, the primary role of the chairman is to conduct the meetings. And I hope we have been able to do that satisfactorily. With that being said, Commissioner McCoy has served as our vice chair for the last couple of years, and I'd like to enter a motion to recommend him for chairman for the new year.
I'll second.
Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Shirley Hines as chairperson.
We have a second.
I second the motion.
It has to come from the Is there a second? Okay, if there's not, we'll have a vote on Commissioner McCoy for chairman for 2018. All in favor? Those opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we have the election of the vice chair for 2018.
I'd like to make a motion for Commissioner Hines to be as the vice chair.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations?
Madam Chair, yes, I recommend Commissioner Bray, and I'd like to withdraw my name as the vice chair.
Okay. All right, we have a second for Commissioner Bray.
I'll second.
All in favor? Commissioner Bray will be our vice chair, and Commissioner McCoy will be our chair. And we'll get situated our next meeting.
We certainly have no problem with that. I'm thinking with that Passover that it's time to get into business here. Just one thing I would like to say, we certainly appreciate the job that you have done, Commissioner Hadley. You have done an excellent job, and we just hope that we can maintain that standard that you set for us. At this time, it appears that we have to appoint a county clerk. Do I hear a nomination?
I move that we appoint Beverly Thomas.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Any other? I will ask for a vote on that. All in favor of Miss Beverly? Looks like it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate being able to serve.
And I see that we're going to be doing a deputy clerk for when you're not here. And I would like to have a recommendation. I think Allison Stevens has been recommended to us from you, so would somebody pick up on that?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
There'll be any others? Then I would ask for a vote at this time. All in favor of Allison? And now we're going to appoint our county attorney.
I made a motion to continue with Susan Henderson.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is any other on the, that you would like to nominate? Miss Susan, how does this sit with you?
Makes me a little nervous. I would be honored to continue to county attorney.
With that, I'm calling for a vote. All in favor of Miss Susan? Looks like again it's unanimous. Set here at a time when we need to adopt our agenda, and one item that I would like to place under new business, we have a couple of recommendations from the Meriwether County Lake Meriwether Board, and that would be number 12. Are there others that we need to add?
Yes, sir. We need to add, under new business, we need to add a non-public member for 3 Rivers. As a no item.
Okay, I am making that number 13. We have our minutes here that have been presented. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't vote on the agenda. You're right. I told you I needed your help. At this time, I would like to have a vote to adopt the agenda. First, I'd like a recommendation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank y'all so much. And under the minutes, you have an opportunity, I think, to either see them in this document, or you've also had a chance to read them otherwise. What is your favor here? Do you accept the minutes?
I've read the minutes. I don't see if there's any need, any corrections or any need made, so make a motion for the be approved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion at all? Then I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Thank you. Looks like we're up to that period where it's municipal comments. My eyes fell on you. Let me see. We don't have any. Yeah, that's right. Municipal comments. Miss Ginger, Mayor Ginger from Wintersville.
Hi, very briefly, I just want to say that we swore in Mr. Don Cuddy last night as my new council member, and we're thrilled for the knowledge and what he's going to bring to the city. And if any of y'all haven't ridden through Lucasville of recent, please do. All the old windows have been restored in the bottom of the building. The windows have been ordered. It's just going to be quite charming when we get it finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, I'm over here. I thought I saw Mayor Glover there a while ago, but I can't. Mayor Glover.
Good morning. Good morning. First, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. And the infrastructure improvement group started this morning on Baptist Hill, replacing some of our old pipes. We have awarded the bid for our wastewater plant, and we are waiting for that to be taken to the court for final approval for USDA. Again, I think we had a very successful year last year, not just for the city, but for the entire county, and I hope we will continue to move forward in 2018.
Thank you, Mayor. I know I've got Doug Westbrook right here from Manchester. Are there others? Doug, if you would at this time.
Good morning, thank you.
Westbury, I'm sorry. I got you confused with the scout man.
He's a good fellow too.
All right.
Piggybacking on what everyone else has said, thank you for a prosperous 2017 and all of your efforts. It's been a pleasure working with you and the staff, and I'm looking forward to 2018 for more of the same. Thank you.
I think that wraps up all our municipal comments. Okay, at this time, I'm going to move to constitutional officers. And who do we have? Sheriff's Office is represented.
We have nothing this time in reserve for anything.
Okay, I guess I'm not clear with that. At this time, I'm going to move to the department heads. Sean, you look like you're likely first.
I just want to tell everybody we wound up doing 297 adoptions for the year 2017 at the animal shelter. We took in 722 animals. We transported 403 on the pipeline transport. Basically between return to owner and adoptions and transports, every animal in there wound up getting a new home. Even animals from last year, so we wound up adopting out and transporting more than we took in for the year, which is a good thing.
Great.
Also, just to let everybody know we're doing the spay and neuter that we had talked about for local residents. They set up over there today. Today's their first day doing it. They're going to do this one. We wound up getting 48 people who signed up for it. After they do this one, they're going to start working on putting together one for the whole county instead of just Luthersville residents. So that way it'll benefit the whole county. And I hope I'm okay saying this. We started another new venture this week with Auburn University. We're transporting animals out there for them to spay and neuter. We have a person who's sponsoring us on that. I don't know if I'm able to say who. Okay. We took our first load yesterday. We took 5 male dogs down there. We'll pick them up tomorrow. For any of y'all who haven't seen that facility, number one, I'm not an Auburn fan. I'm sorry. I'm roll tide, but I'm going to tell you that facility out there is a very nice facility. The people are super friendly and will do anything they can to help, and I think it's going to be a great thing that we're doing with them for these animals. It's going to help us to get a lot more animals adopted and not cost the county as much to do it.
And I want to add to that just a little bit. What we're wanting to do with that is to hopefully bring some of those vet students eventually into these rural areas to come out to the shelters and to do some of their rotations through it so that they see the need that we have here and that they also understand what is going on with the need for all these spay and neuters because of what we have as far as too many cats, dogs, and they just continue to breed. So that is the next step. It may be in 6 months to a year, but with the spay and neuters going down, we want to get that levelized, and then we want to start to get them to bring those vet 3rd and 4th year students out. Hopefully we can get some convinced to stay in the area if they want to, because our local ones are getting much older, and I'm not sure how long they'll actually be doing it. So I think it'll be a really, really good thing for all of us to do. So I just wanted to add that to you and what we're doing with all of this.
The only other thing I want to say is we're doing a fundraiser at County Line Cafe for Animal Shelter February 4th. It's on a Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pancake breakfast. Everybody come out and enjoy breakfast, meet everybody. The staff in the shelter is going to be doing all the serving. Mr. Parker is going to do the cooking. We've had all the stuff donated for it. So y'all come on out. If you don't know the shelter staff, come out and meet them, eat breakfast with everybody, and just get to know everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Skipper, my apologies. I could see your knee, but that's all. Have you got anything to add?
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you. And I guess we're up to Tyrell there.
Good morning. Last year was a challenging year for public works. I know it's going to be even more challenging, but I just want to thank each and every one commission for getting us the equipment, stuff we need to work with. And we are still saving money with this young guy that we hired as a lead mechanic. I won't tell you right now how much, but it's a lot. But we'll wait on the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrell. Appreciate your comments. Miss Patty, I think you're next in my lineup.
It's time.
Okay. Keith, I'm going to come forward to you. Nothing. Ronnie, I assume you're very next on the list here.
Yep, all I have is public hearing.
Okay, just the public hearing?
That's all I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bryn?
How long do you think would you miss me?
I was between making notes and thinking of what I need to get next. Sorry, Bryn.
It's okay. I almost called you senior chair. So used to been saying Madam Chair for so many years, but
You going to call me senior chair?
I was going to at first just on accident, but it's gonna be hard getting adjusted to Mr. Chair. But
You can still call them Madam Chair, sorry.
I just want to report just briefly. We met yesterday in Spalding County. Myself, Allison, Ron, and Mr. Westbrook, Westbury. He was actually there as well. And we learned a lot about what we need to do for the upcoming census. There's a lot that we need to do. Basically, this next year is going to be based on us preparing and confirming our information with what they have. And then 2019 will be them actually going out to get the information. And then it'll be ready for us in 2020. So that's kind of going to be the timeline on it, and very important to the county for that to be accurate. So, anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
So this year, 2018, is just preparing. So the actual census, is it 2019 or 2020?
Well, the census should be ready in 2020. Am I correct on that, Sarah?
So the field work, so the people who come out in the field is going to be done in 2019?
Correct.
And so have they just decided when they're going to start? I saw some flyers and advertising for those who may be looking for work. Have they already submitted that? Is that available?
I believe so. There's some office work, because what's going to end up happening is as we take the tedious task of verifying all of our addresses and structures and things like that for them to actually find people, come 2019, towards the end of 2018, they're going to start mailing those packets out to people. And then, of course, those that do not respond is when they start knocking doors.
And let me ask you this, so the manpower that's required to do that on the county, are they helping us with the manpower? Is this manpower that we have to provide?
Well, it's what we're going to be doing it with the assistance of Three Rivers as far as their technical assistance, but we're going to be doing most of it.
It's very time consuming.
It is.
Not to have manpower, I'm saying.
The door-to-door staff, they will take care of all of that.
That's right.
Ours is just an issue of verifying addresses and where houses are located in the various census blocks. They'll send someone out that does not make the return to do the survey. And then all of that data will come together and will be compiled, and then we'll get our new census reports. That also triggers additional work, because at that point in time, we'll have to look at our redistricting for the various elected offices. We'll also have to look at our renegotiations, probably, of our local option sales tax, and a lot of things that are triggered about that census.
I'm glad that you all were able to go to that workshop. If they have a template, or if they have a PDF information on it, I would like to get it, because one of the things that Mr. Gate just brought to our attention, other than just counting the number of people that you have in your county, the census, it has a great effect on your districting, your amount of money that you get.
There's a tremendous
federal level, and I think there's an important for educating people on why the census is done and what is the data once it's collected, how it will affect your county.
That's correct. There's a tremendous amount that relies on an accurate census count.
That's the thing, I think we miss.
2010.
Get missed, or they want to be missed, and it really hurts all of us. It's not an actor's count.
Correct.
On the board for the jobs.
Okay, so Beverly just brought to our attention there is a poster or a flyer out on the board about those who may be interested in working or being a part of the census as well. So let's make sure we get that on the website.
It's already been put up, but it was like 6 months ago.
Well, that's what she said it was out there.
Yeah.
Let's repost it.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Anything further, Mr. President?
No, sir, thank you.
Let me see, Miss Jane, I guess you're next in the lineup. Barely see. Miss Susan?
I know. Hey, it's his fault.
You see another? Okay. I think that wraps up the department heads, and thank y'all for that. It looks like we're going to be going into public hearing. Do I hear a motion? We go into public hearing for an application for an alcohol license. Is there a second? All in favor? We're in public hearing.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have one application for an alcohol license, and the reason it comes to you in this public hearing because this is a new license in the county. It's not a renewal. And the license comes, the applicant is Miss, hope I don't mispronounce your name, Miss Hannah Kochar?
Yes, sir.
She's the applicant, and she owns a store now, or leases a store, I don't know what the situation is, And you may know where it is. It used to be a Shell station on 54 just before you cross the interstate going to Hoganville. That's Valero now. She owns that store now. And she's wanting to, she's applying for an alcohol license here in Meriwether County for the, used to be the Clements grocery store in Primrose, located in Zion Hill, in that neighborhood. We've been through the background check. Everything checks out good for her and her license representative, which has to be a resident of Meriwether County. We checked all that out. The property's been posted. No, he's not here, I don't think. I don't see him. The representative? I don't think he's here. But he had, his background was checked also. And the background check is good on both of them. And they're going to add a bathroom to the Clement Store building. Of course, they're not doing that yet. They want to make sure they get approved first. And then once they get approved, we will inspect the bathroom, inspect the whole facility to make sure everything's up to fire codes and the other codes that might be applicable. And so that's the gist of her application.
Well, this is the building that we okayed for a store back about 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
About 2 years ago, it was Jackson, I think, was applicant then.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, wanted to point out on the, like on the tax records of this, there are actually two structures on the property. One is a store and one is a house. And I think they may share a common address. So if the board is inclined to approve this today, I would recommend that you specify that it's on the store building and not an excluded house, which I know is their intent, but they both share the same address.
Anybody opposed to us just looking at the store building?
I'm trying to understand exactly where the building is. It's on 54 going into Lono?
No, that's where her current store is. The store,
okay.
the location she's applying for is on Primrose Road.
Okay.
About half a mile from the intersection of Charlie Fuller Road.
Okay, I understand. It's the old Clements house?
The old Clements store,
Okay,
not the house, the store.
Store. So that's in Shirley District.
So is that the house you're talking about though? The house that is the store.
Right.
So we're focused on the store, not on the house.
That's right.
Chairman, is this beer and wine only, Ron?
Just beer and wine. Package sales. There will be
Package sales.
no alcohol served on premises. It's basically a convenience store that want to sell beer and wine.
Any additional questions to Ron?
Is there any opposition?
I've not had any calls about it. And the property's been posted about 3 weeks.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to thank for some information. This address, we know in previous, when we took over, Sheriff Smith took over office, we made execute a search warrant at this address years past, in which there was drug arrests made and illegal firearms found at this location. The business was in somebody else's name, but it was actually a relative that was running it at that point in time that was operating that facility. That area over there had been problematic for us when Sheriff Smith took office. There's been a lot of effort that's been put forth by people in that community to clean that area up and actually make an area for a playground area. I don't know if any of those people are here that are part of that community over there that are here today that would maybe speak in regards to that, but I think that their opportunity should be presented for them. I just think that the board needs to look at this thoroughly regarding, and we have case investigation information related to it, and make sure that there's no issues related back to this previous set of circumstances that evolved out there at that location. That area had been problematic for us. We've done a lot to try, and the people in that community have stepped up out there as well to make that area more viable for kids and families and that kind of thing. So I'd ask that the board look at this carefully in regards to before they decide that they're going to approve this application for alcohol to be sold out there.
Thank you, Deputy Hadley, appreciate that.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
This is in my district. I do see some people out in the audience that lives in that Zion Hill area. If they would like to speak at this time, I think this will be a good opportunity to hear. I understand what the Jeff just brought to our attention, but the things that were problematic, was it at the store or was it at the house?
Ma'am?
You said it was problematic, that there were several activities going on that was,
It
illegal. Was it at the store or at the house?
There was drugs being sold from the store.
From the store.
There was drugs also being maintained hidden outside the location, in fact, around Dumpster, closer to residents too, which is all connected together. But the drugs were being sold out of that store.
And how long has that been?
I want to say it was around 15. I've got report information, I just don't have it right here in front of me. It's
Around 2015?
It's been about 2 years.
About 2 years?
Yes.
So have the store been vacant or operated since then? Or has it been once I guess what I'm trying to find out, has it in 2015 and after, was it shut down, or has someone been operating it prior, since then, or?
It was based on, Ron could better answer at what point in time that anything else has been done past that. It was closed after that point in time. But this was a relative of the person that was running the store that was actually selling the drugs there at the location. This individual was also prosecuted and convicted in the court of competent jurisdiction, was sent off to the Department of Corrections to serve sentence up under this. There was also a firearm that was at this location too as well. We had numerous complaints about this facility and this location during the course, which brought us to the fact that we ended up doing a task force investigation over there that led to a search warrant execution and drugs being found. We also know that there was alcohol being sold at that location during this investigation too.
Again, thank you, Deputy. The list, does somebody have that of the people that want to speak?
It's right there.
Okay. Give that one. Give it first page. Benny Sewell, I think you've asked us. Benny, if you would come forward. Just come up to the podium here. And just state your address,
Benny Sewell of 2179 Gold Mine Road, Grantville.
Okay.
First of all, I'm got concern about this issue. My position in the neighborhood, I'm trying to upbuild my neighborhood down now. I built a park right there in the community for the kids, so they have some activity to do. So I disapprove of this alcohol license to be accepted in this community. Because we got a lot of kids, and I'm doing all I can to help the kids in the community. It's proved for itself what I have already started doing at Primrose Road and Charlie Powers Road and Tenny Nelson Road, right there at that intersection. It speaks for itself. And they're doing a great job for the kids. And we got the church right below this park, and the church door is right in, look dead into that store door. That's not a good access for alcohol license. I disapprove that. If I had to get a petition, I will get a petition for the community to sign it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Sewell. Appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir.
Next on our lineup is Melvin Sewell. Melvin, here, come forward, please, Melvin.
First of all, let's say good morning.
Good morning. What's your address, sir?
2395 Primrose Road.
Okay, thank you.
I live in the community.
Yes, sir.
One of my main concern is about that license for alcohol.
Yes, sir.
Every day, I'm constantly picking up beer cans and stuff right in front of my house. People throw stuff out right in front of your house, and we got a lot of activities in that community, which been trying to get rid of. And I just think that creating more problem by them selling alcohol in that community, because it already polluted. That's one of my main concern about it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Was there any questions of Mr. Benny while he was here? I'm sorry, Mr. Bell.
Mr. Chairman, I have a recommendation also, if possible, if we do okay that we split that address between the house and the residence as an A and a B.
Who have I have next here on the list? Yes, sir.
Could I say something first? That property there, that store just add on. That store in that house, that's supposed to be just one thing in that house. They just add that store. They put that on the add-on. That's not tile there. On that property, that tile is one building, that house. That's the only way it's tile, not the store. It just add on.
Thank you for that, Mr. Benny. And I don't want to mess, is it Kiarta? Kiarta, okay. I didn't see the cross on the T. Come forward, Mr. Poole.
My address is 2470 Primrose Road.
Okay,
so I live approximately 500 feet from the store.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a father of a 9-year-old daughter. I've been in the Zion Hill community all my life. I grew up here. I'm a graduate of Greenville High School. I work outside of the county. I had a chance to move outside of the county, but I decided to stay there. One of the reasons why, because I love my people and I love the people of the Zion Hill community. A lot has happened as opposed to drinking and driving. I agree, a store is needed in the community. However, a store with the sale of alcohol is not needed. I'm not opposed to a convenience store. It's right in my backyard. The year 1995, right in front of that store, right in the driveway, I had a cousin killed by a drunk driver right there, and also a high school classmate that's paralyzed right now. Some of her relatives are here, some of them not, but I will not state her by name. Since I've been there, people are getting out and starting to walk in the community. The church there is starting a foundation where they feed the senior citizens. They got positive activities that are going on in the community now. So as I state, I'm not opposed to a store, but the sale of alcohol is something that you would need a positive image to see there at that store. However, and then my concern also, the money that will be made into that store, will some of that money be funneled back into the community for the citizens or the residents of the Zion Hill community? It's easy to be said and done, hey, I can bring a store here. And once those citizens support that store in that community, and then they will take those resources and they will be spent somewhere else. If those resources are supported by the people in that community, will they be spent with their citizens of the community? We have a lot of children activity there. We have a lot of kids that attend school right there at Unity. They attend the activities at the church that they have in. So my concern is I'm not opposed to a store, but however, the sale of alcohol and stuff, that's something that I'm opposed to. It needs to be a positive image there and a positive image for them to see there. Like I state, sometimes business is great, but all money is not good money as well. So if it can be a positive image, it can be something about it, that's fine. But the sale of alcohol, I'm opposed to that. Thanks.
Hold steady there, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Sewell? Thank you, Mr. Sewell. Appreciate your comments.
I failed to put my name on the list, sir.
Okay, there'll be one in front of you. What is your name, sir?
My name's Willie Clements, and I want to speak on behalf of this alcohol.
Well, you're there. Go ahead.
Okay.
And where do you live, Mr.
I live in Grantville.
Grantville, Georgia.
And I'm a son of the family, the Clement. How you do, sir? He know me. This store been in the family for approximately 50 or more years. My daddy ran it until he passed on. I ran it for approximately 20 years. My daughter ran it for a few years. We didn't have no problem of what they speaking of, this or that. It wasn't a tight family we was involved in. Now, yes, the person we rented this store to, or my brother rented this store to, a couple of years ago, it was wrong people, I reckon, that he rented to. Those people, instead of running the store, went off on drugs. This is exactly like the deputy said back here. I'm a law enforcement, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. Spent approximately 30 years. I wouldn't want to put nothing in an area that would involve, especially young people. This location they talk about, it's not in the way of nobody. It's a long distance from the churches. It's been approved for years and years and years for alcohol in that location. In the park that he talking about, it's a mile away. You know, this not interfering with that park, what they talking about. I don't see that nothing wrong with someone selling alcohol in this particular location. This is a family location. That's why I have a raising bone there. That's where my family lived at, Ernest Clements. So I'm very concerned about we need to go ahead and, you know, like I say, and get something going in that area. You know, you got to pay the tax on this property and all this stuff. So I don't see nothing wrong with having alcohol to be sold in that particular location. I mean, I sold it when I was there. Daddy sold it when he was there. My daughter sold it. So it's been a family tradition up until the last couple of years. He rented to the wrong person. I don't have no control of what a person do when you rent them something. That's the law enforcement job. And you know, it's not my job.
So do you still own the property?
Yes.
So you're leasing it to the applicant?
Yes. And I'm behind them, I'm standing behind them. That store is very needed in that community. It's just like historic. It is historic in that area. And you're talking to an 86-year-old person, so I'm concerned about this, Mr. Chairman.
How many years was alcohol sold there?
How many years? Oh, I stayed on for approximately 15 years. Daddy stayed on until he passed on, and I took over. So it's a history. Clements Grocers, that's the history of it in that particular area. And these locations they talking about are distant away, yes. I mean, you know, it just don't make no whole lot of sense somebody complain about something like that.
Just hold steady just a second. Any additional questions, Mr. Clinton?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, you have a previous speaker that would
I do. I certainly do, and I'm going to get that. Mr. Fuller, and are you here, sir?
That's Miss Fuller.
Miss Fuller.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come forward, please.
Come on, I withdraw my,
Well, come forward, please. And is your name LaTanya?
Yes, sir. Good morning,
Okay, I can
everyone.
see it now.
I'm LaTanya Fuller, and I was not aware of any of this going on until I walked into this place this morning. I was notified about the meeting on yesterday.
Yeah, now where do you live?
I live on Primrose Road.
Okay.
I live 1.5 miles from the store. That's my grandfather who just spoke.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna oppose or go for. I don't want to be in it. So whatever happens, happens. I withdraw having anything else to say.
Yes, ma'am, come forward.
Oh, a very good morning to everyone. My name is Hina, and a very happy New Year. I'm the owner of the Bhola Enterprises LLC. So I have been, after listening to the discussion, I felt I should come forward and speak. I already have a store running at Granville, and I have a good record. I've been an elementary teacher and a mother of 4. So I can, it will be a family grocery store for us. And when it comes to business, you need to see the business. You know, for business, I need the license for beer and wine, okay, for running the store. But that doesn't mean what happened in the past, it will happen with us also. That I can assure you. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Any further questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
How did you come to find out about this particular store? Did someone come to you and ask you to do that, or is it something that you found on your own that you're wanting to put a store into that community?
See, we have a store at Granville right now also. It's running. So we were looking for a second option, you know, because we have 4 kids responsibilities. Everyone wants to grow and give better future for their kids. So we were looking forward to it. We had people who came to our store. They said they need such kind of a store at this particular location as well, because the people out there in that particular region really have to go out to other parts like Hogginsville and all that area for buying the little grocery things also. So they told us to visit that area. So we were able to find out. It was really hard for us to find out the person, the property, but we were fortunate enough to meet Mr. Clemens. And you know, you need to work on things. We started working on it, and we felt we are like a family. Like me and my husband will be working. We have kids' responsibilities. So we don't have so much of things with us so that we can grow. So we were looking for such kind of a small location, such place, which is, because I have a 15-month-old baby with me, so I have to travel. I stay at Hogginsville. So distance, everything suited to us. So why not? Who don't want to grow? Yes, ma'am.
Would it be possible for you to buy the store? I assume that you have already purchased the store or in the process of renting the store. Could you do that without a beer and liquor license? Could it just be a convenience store?
Ma'am, when it comes to a store, it has to have certain things. It has to have a certain profit, you know, to run a store. You need to understand. It doesn't mean whatever happened in the past, that will be happening this time also. You need to consider me as a person to my company. You need to consider that we have a good background. We won't be doing what happened in the past. I can assure you that. I can tell you, I'm being a mother, I'm being a woman, I'm being a school teacher. I believe in ethics and everything. That has to be followed. And if you have to check, they have already checked my background check. And we have a store running at Granville. It's a good reputation store. It's a grocery store with wine and beer. Nothing is happening.
One more question.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
that store in Granville, is it located in a community?
Yes, ma'am. It's a neighborhood grocery store. It's in Granville. It's just opposite the Dollar General, and we have a really good reputation over there. My husband has been working with Valero and the BP in the Granville and Valero in the Hogginsville for the last 4 and 5 years. He has been managing both the stores.
I understand, but this store, I know exactly where it is. It is within a community where there's nothing but houses there. There's no gas station or anything there. So you would be putting this store in a location where people have like walking access to it. And to me, that would be contributing to the bad habits in the community rather than bringing access to good things in the community, because you have probably a lot of people there unemployed or whatever. So that's all they're going to do is walk back and forth to that store. So to me personally, it would be bad for the community, but that's my opinion.
I'm sorry I really respect your opinion, but I'm sorry, but there has to be certain things in the other society. If I don't sell at my store wine and beer, that doesn't mean the people living in the community won't stop drinking it. There might be those who have this habit, or those who are following it, they have to go out, they will be going out.
They go outside the community. I'm saying in this situation, they will be right there. So they would not have to get in a car to go buy it. They have walking access to it.
But I respect, but that has to be, but when it comes to the store, we need the license one.
So who will be managing the store?
It will be me and my husband.
So you will be on premises?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What will be the hours of that store?
We are looking, as of now, from Monday to Thursday, we're looking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Maybe on Friday, Saturdays, maybe on Friday later, 10:30 or so. But if it's dark, if nothing there, we might be closing, because I told you I have a baby and we have 4 kids, so we will be moving back to the home after closing the store as soon as possible.
I have a question. Is this a lease or purchase, and is it pending on you getting your license if you open up this business?
It's a lease for 10 years. We are having a lease from so.
Is it a 10-year lease?
Yes, sir.
Is this lease binding on that you get approval for a license to sell beer and wine?
Oh, sorry, I could not understand that. What does it mean?
Is
If
it
you don't get
contingent?
the
I'm sorry.
license,
Mm-hmm.
do you still have to pay for the lease?
Are you
If
still?
don't get this license.
Right. Are you still gonna open up as a convenience store? I understand what you're saying, the margin of your profit is based on certain things that you sell. So if this is not approved, are you going to continue to have the store there as a convenience store? Or will this license or agreement is contingent on you getting this being passed?
It's very much depend on that.
Okay. And currently you say you're operating in Granville across
Yes, ma'am.
from
Yes, ma'am.
Dollar?
Yes, ma'am.
And, okay, and so that means you are anticipating closing that store?
No, it
You're
will be
gonna operate
running. Yes, it will be running.
So that means in the other store in Grantville, you're gonna have employees for that store?
Yes, ma'am. It's the family. We will be putting them under the contract for the Grantville. We have already started the process.
Thank you.
I got a question if I could.
Go ahead.
Your license rep, Kirby Lamar Reed, will he be working for you at this location?
No. If required at times, maybe, but as of now, we want to start.
What would be his role then?
He will be taking care of the renovations and everything in the store.
Any further questions for Ms., and I try not to murder your name, Ms. Hina Kochar?
Yes, sir, perfect.
Thank you so much. No questions, you may proceed. Other questions from the audience?
No, sir, I'd like to say
If you'd
something.
like to come up and
Yes.
speak,
Thank you, sir.
you come right ahead and give me your name and address.
Okay. I'm Reverend Joseph E. Hines. I'm 89 Hines Circuit, Grantville, Georgia. It's just like,
Hello, Joe.
yeah, you know me.
Very well.
Worked for Georgia Power 35 years.
Yes, you did.
Retired electrician. What I'm gonna say, I'm the kind of man to speak what's on my mind. Now, I can't say that I'm for or against it. I'm gonna be speaking positive as a licensed ordained minister. But it's really not gonna matter. Think about what I'm finna say. At one time, they had 3 liquor stores in Grantville. One was on the end, close to the funeral home. They closed it down. Now they still got 2. One right there, Tucker's close to Tucker pawn shop, right? One below the pawn shop. They still got 2 liquor stores in Grantville. I know what I'm talking about. I see people go in those stores. Still got one in Lutherville. What is gonna matter? Giving this lady her liquor license and let her start selling liquor. If people want to drink liquor and beer, they're gonna get it somewhere. If they don't get it at her store, they're gonna buy it at another store. If they have to walk and get it, they're gonna get it. They have to catch a friend, they're gonna get it. I mean, it really not gonna matter whether that liquor store be put in that neighborhood or not. Because if that liquor store not put in Zion Hill, they're gonna go to Grantville, they're gonna go to Lutherville and still bring it right back in that neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So it really not gonna matter. Just like the time you said, not gonna really matter.
Hold right there for a second. Any questions? Yeah. And we do go back a ways. I remember Joe from Georgia Fire.
That's right. I remember your face now too.
Okay, Joe, you can return your seat. Yes. Come forward. And what's your name, sir?
Kiara. I'm back
That's
again.
right, son.
Yeah. Okay. Just to clear up a few things that he said. I'm not here to question your integrity or your character. I'm pretty sure you're a fine person, but that's not the issue here. Mr. Hines, I respect you completely. I really do. But whether it matters or not, see, the thing is, I'm walking distance there. You're driving distance there. It's just like this. If I'm standing in this room, you say if they're not going to get it here, they'll get it somewhere else. If I'm standing in this room here, and water is filled up to this room, to my neck, right here. If I have the option to open that door and let that water flow in, or if I got the option for that water coming from Manchester to flow in, I would have a better chance of swimming out, escaping, by the time that water comes from Manchester, Warm Springs, up through Greenville to get here, versus if you open that door and let that water rush in and it drowns me immediately. That's the effect that it has. So it's not about integrity. Like I say, a store is needed. The store in question that he's talking about that's moved, guess what? It's a functioning convenience store as well. Fraser function, they sell well, but they don't serve alcohol. It's several stores that are functioning convenience stores that does not have the sale of alcohol. So why is it depending on that you sell alcohol versus that you can have a successful business? If you're a salesman, you can sell anything, be it apples, be it pears, be it cookies, be it candy, be it bread, be it milk, or be it eggs. So why is it depending that if you sell alcohol, that's the only way you can operate? We've seen plenty of stores that operate as businesses without the sale of alcohol. And to hear that, it kind of makes me cringe for a licensed ordained minister to say that it doesn't matter. That should make me question your integrity also as a father, and to hear a law enforcement officer that says, I've been an officer for 30 years.
And let's refrain from talking about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but if I'm an officer to go sell something to someone and then in turn go out and arrest them for the same thing that I turn around and sell them, that's kind of, something is wrong and fuzzy with that picture. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not opposed to a store. It's just the opposition of alcohol. That's my only opposition.
Just hold steady a second. Any additional questions for Mr. Slew?
I don't have a question, but I do have a couple comments.
Go ahead. You may.
As a business owner, I very well understand the profit margins. And I don't think it's unusual to have a particular product that you might need to sell to make your store be successful. And unless you put your money into running a business, it's easy to say what you do or not do. Now, I applaud the people in the community out there that have stepped up to try to make a better community and safer community. And the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's no legal reason that they cannot operate, I mean, I know what happened there in the past, and we certainly don't want that to happen again, but if they pass their background checks and everything's in line legally, I don't know that we really can oppose it. Now, what I will say, that I've always said, having an alcohol license is not a right, it is a privilege. And you abuse that privilege, then we're going to revoke that license. And I think anybody sitting here knows we have done that more than once. So, like I said, the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not legally any reason to do it. If they're not responsible for these past actions, I don't know that we have any ground not to approve it, but what we do have going forward is if it's approved, we can certainly revoke that license if they don't uphold their end of the bargain, so to speak. That's just my comment.
Thank you.
And I would like to make a note, the only concern that I would have is that the licensed representative is not going to be on the premises. That's a little problematic from my standpoint. That would be the only real concern that I have going forward with an approval.
Can I say something? I'm feeling back at what I said.
I will let you just briefly.
Okay. And now, I'm finna make a point here. I'm having to bring up my dead brother to make this point. 1968. I want y'all to hear me good. Same year Dr. Martin Luther King got killed. My brother, they left us corner 11. Robert Hine, he was born April 4. My birthday is April 11. If I live to April 11, I'd be 66 years old. That same year, 3 days before Christmas, December 22nd, that same year, my brother walked out in front of a car with fog that night. Killed him. I'm saying this to make a point. You made a point, took a kick and I'm making one. I was drinking a little alcohol, a little wine at that time. Reed, I was with your brother that night. And they called in the house and said,
Joe, you're gonna have to direct to us, bro.
Said, my brother had got killed. Anyway. Excuse me, sir. When I looked down at my dead brother laying in the sun of the road like he was laying on a casket, I looked up toward heaven. I said, God, I said, I'm not drinking another drop. That been 49 years ago. Now to prove my point, can't nobody stop you from drinking or doing something unless you make up your own mind. So the reason I said it doesn't matter about where they put that liquor store. If your mind made up to drink until you die, I preach it all the time in my church. You're gonna drink until you die. But now, if you make your mind up, I don't want that no more. I'm gonna quit. I'm not going out this way. That's what I did. I made my mind. I said, my brother left this way. I'm not going out that way. I hadn't drunk another drop. Now, I ain't got nothing to say.
Thank you for that testimony.
Okay.
Are there anybody, is there anyone else that wishes to speak at this time? Yes, ma'am. Come forward and be recognized.
Good morning. My name is Hazel Jackson Knowles. I was invited today also to come to the meeting, but like Ms. Fuller, I had no clue of this particular situation that we're talking about. But I grew up in the Zion Hill community.
What is your address now?
179 College Street, Luthersville. I understand Prophet
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. What is your last name again?
Knowles, N-A-L-L-S. Yes. I have family that still lives in that community, and the church that's probably less than a mile from that store, I attended as a child. I agree with Benny and Melvin and Kiki that the community is making a turnaround. We want the best for the citizens, and to bring in alcohol at this point in time would not profit our community. That's my opinion. I understand that there is a need for a store. We welcome that store. But to have alcohol there would not benefit the citizens of that community. I understand your position that you said that you've done your background checks, the whole bit. But my thing is, if you can not sympathize, but kind of align yourself with our feelings as community people, why can't you say, okay, we'll add to the community by supplying you with, giving you a store, but we can retract the application for the alcohol. Alcohol would not help us at this point in time. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Lyon. Any questions?
I'd like to expound on what Commissioner Hadley said earlier. In our ordinances, there are specific steps that can be taken to remove somebody's alcohol license in the event that they violate it. So it's actually, there's more written steps for doing that than there is for any other business license. So it's a very tenuous thing and easily revoked by this commission in the event that they violate it or it becomes problematic and the sheriff's department becomes involved, and there are things that we can point to that this is the source of those issues. So I just want to caution the community that there are ways to remove the license in the event that it is approved.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. Any others? Sure.
This is in my district. I did get the information regarding the application. Once again, you've heard me say several times, I wish that prior to these meetings, we have even more depth information. I wish that the information that was presented by the Sheriff Department, I had that. I noticed public records. I appreciate the comments that were said by those who are for it and those that think it's not a good fit for their community. It is very challenging right now because I've seen the work that's been put into the Primrose community to upgrade it. I've seen the work of the park that has been put there and the positive effect that it's having in the community. So it is, but then on the other hand, I also understand as business owners, when we have an ordinance that you meet all the compliances, that, you know, we wrote the ordinance, we are governed by our own ordinance, and you meet the criteria as well. So this is a very difficult one for me to hear today, but I want to say I appreciate the comments from everybody. I appreciate hearing, and I heard it not just in the sense of you talking, I also heard your heart. So I thank you for sharing the information on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Hines. If there are no further comments, no further questions, and we do appreciate you expressing your opinions, do I hear a motion?
Can I ask one more thing?
No, you certainly not. Go ahead.
When you mentioned about the representative not being on the premises, or maybe Ron answers, is it normal that the representative is involved with the business?
Generally speaking,
They usually are.
it is a representative that mans the store.
Because, I mean, if they're not on the premises, how are they gonna know what's going on? I mean, they're being held responsible for that license, right? The representative is. And if they're not on the premises, there's no way they know if it's being sold underage, anything being done, is that correct?
That's correct, and that representative has put their name on the line, and they need to understand that. They have a copy of the ordinance.
And the representative's not here today, right?
That's right, he's not here.
There's an item to be checked in the application that says the licensee is not the licensed representative. An affidavit from the licensed representative certifying that he or she is at least 21 years of age, a resident of the county, and a manager of the business. And so that's why we're bringing that point up. That's why the question was asked. You have someone who owns the business who could not get a license without the licensed representative.
That's right, because.
Okay, so our ordinance says that the representative would be a manager in the business.
That's what this document says.
What the application states, yes.
That's what the application says.
My assumption, or my belief that the representative was going to be on the premises.
Okay.
While I'm here, let me just make one point of clarification. The word liquor is mentioned several times here, but liquor can never be sold there. There's a lot more restriction on liquor than there is beer and wine. It's a whole different ballgame. So liquor will not be sold there, it's beer and wine.
The board could continue this to allow the licensed rep an opportunity to come.
But I think, I mean, if it says the following items must be included with this application, and it says that the representative, like you said, 21 years of age, and be a manager of business. I mean, if it's not, then I think that's pretty much answers if they're not a man, that's what our own ordinance says. Appreciate you bringing that out.
All the other businesses that we have that can't sell alcohol do have an employee that's named as representative.
And even if that license rep changes at some point, don't they have to come back in and re-notify?
They do. And every year on the renewal, we background check every year the current owner and their representative again for renewals.
I just wanted the board to.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up.
I'd actually like to take a look at the ordinance. I'm not sure if that particular requirement that's in the application is actually in the ordinance. I'd like to take a look at that too.
Okay. With all that being said, is there anyone else? Thank you, Ron.
I do.
Okay.
Based on the information that's just been presented to us by Mr. Gay and our attorney, there seemed to be a discrepancy even in our own application and ordinance. It's very not clear. And based on that information alone, I don't know whether I made the comment now or after we come out of public hearing, but I do believe that we need to look at this a little further and table it.
Yeah, probably be better after we come out of public hearing. If there's no one else to speak, do I hear a motion we come out of public hearing?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, at this time, I guess we need a motion and then the comments need to come. Do I hear a motion? Wait a minute, we're not back in session.
No, well, I'll tell you what problem is, Mr. Chairman, if you're gonna, you got a couple options. You can close the public hearing or continue the public hearing. So if you're gonna continue it, before you come out of the public hearing, you need to indicate that it's gonna be continued, if that's the desire of the board. Because if you close the public hearing, then that public hearing is closed, and technically, I don't think you can go back to it. Right.
And if you continue it, then that gives us the opportunity to go back and look over the ordinance and the application
That's
to
right.
make sure that it's consistent about the information on the representative.
That's right. And you continue it to your next meeting, and then we can clarify any of those issues.
Discrepancies or
Right.
issues that we may have.
Okay, I will amend what I asked for. Do I hear that we, continue the public hearing at a later date?
So
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor? And now we go back into regular session. Do I need a
Now,
motion?
that's right, yes, sir.
All right, do I hear a motion? We go back into regular session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're back in session, folks. All right, on this, it sounds to me that we're going to continue this. There will be nothing else needed at this point.
What we'll do is we'll clarify that issue that's been discussed, and we'll get that back to the board. And for the applicant, everybody here, we'll have that at your next meeting, which will be on
23rd.
January 23rd at 6 o'clock.
My apologies for all of you coming out and expressing your opinions, but you heard what the board's going to do. We will continue this till next meeting. Thank y'all. And at this time, I suppose we're ready to go into old business. The first item I have here is appointment of comprehensive planning steering committee District 4.
Pass and table that.
All in favor? The appointment for steering committee from District 4 is tabled at this time. Appointment for Airport Authority District 5.
I am working on that and got some suggestions there, but I'll have to ask for it to be tabled.
Is there a second? Okay. All in favor of tabling the appointment? So moved. The Recreation Advisory Board District 1, do we have a name?
Yes, we do. I'd like to nominate Mr. Mike Relic. He is a volunteer firefighter in Station 6, which I believe is the Gay area. I've talked to him several times, and he is very willing to represent the Gay and Allenton area.
How does he spell his last name?
R-A-Y-L-I-C-K. I may be pronouncing.
R-A-L-I-C-H.
Oh, I'm sorry. R-A-L-I-C-H.
L-I-C-H.
I see.
It's pronounced Rayleigh.
Rayleigh.
Okay, we have a motion for Mr. Mike Rayleigh. Okay, we have a second. All in favor? So passes. Appointment Recreation Advisory Board, District 5.
Now, that's my district, and I still have not heard back from my person. I tried again before we met, but we'll ask that to be tabled, please.
Okay, is there a second on the table?
Second.
All in favor of table? So passes. Appointment Recreation Advisory Board at large. Is there a nominee?
I have a nominee. His name is Colin. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. C-O-W-A-N-S. He lives in the county. He's a resident. He's been here 7 years. He comes with a background in agribusiness. They have a farm, and he also has, he has his bachelor degree, I believe, in marketing. I think
Where does
it's
he
really
live?
upset. He lives right outside of Greenville, going towards 362.
Okay. We have a name floated, Mr. Carl Collins. I hope I pronounced it right. And is there a second? Second. All in favor? Any discussion on the matter? Okay, so passes. Appointment Recreation Advisory Board, School Board. Is there a nominee?
I have a question. Have we contacted the school board to ask for a representative?
I have no idea.
Kay Key was serving in that
Yeah.
role, and we've not, I mean, has not been to several of the meetings, but I'll ask them to, I'll contact her, and then if she can't continue, I'll contact the school system, or I'll contact the school system, just ask them to give us a nomination.
And so we're going to need to table at this time. I need a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So passes. Appointment to Public Facilities Authority, and I believe.
Okay.
Well, I was asked to contact.
Okay.
I contacted Sonia Flynn, and she said she was willing to continue to serve on that board. I'd like to submit her as a nominee.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Ms. Sonia Flynn. Appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Do we have a nominee?
I think we do.
Okay.
There were zoning appeals.
Mrs. Sonia? That one was in
Right here, yeah. It was Linda Wilbur was the person, and I think one of the board members was going to contact her. I'm not sure who, but I'll be glad to reach out to her if y'all would like to do that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Then I assume we need a motion to table at this time.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So passed. Appointment to the Board of Health. Are we ready?
Yes. I'd like to reappoint Norma Phillips. She has served in this role and would like to continue, and I'd just like to add that in talking with her, most of you may know, she's a former commissioner, and she just wanted to express what a good job she thought this board was doing, and although she is a former commissioner, she says she thought this was the best board the county had ever had. So I make a motion to reappoint Norma Phillips.
So, second.
All in favor? Is there any discussion on Norma? I think she makes a good representative. All in favor then, let it be known by hand vote. So passed. Now we're up to new business.
Chairman, on the Board of Health, you also have Dr. Victor Lambert as well. And I think you do have to have a medical staff member as part of that board.
I think all that's pretty much just a formality that we have to.
Absolutely, it is, because there's certain criteria that board has to meet.
Is there anything I need to do at this time for Victor Lambert?
Nothing here, it'll be number two or three. And then we also have this.
Oh, down here, I see.
Conversation.
I got you, okay, so it's down.
So who are the two appointments? I mean, what?
Dr. Wayward would be an appointment, and Latrell Robinson would be an appointment of who's Commissioner
I
Hines.
think she would.
And I want to table that.
Yeah, she withdrew.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we need a motion for Dr. Lambert then?
Oh, no, we need to go number one, the recreation district.
Well, let me get the Recreation Board out here.
Placed in that business.
Appointment to the Recreation Board, District 4. Is there a nominee?
There is. I would like to make a motion to put Miss Nika Carter-Young there. I have not spoken to her, but she did come highly recommended from someone in my district, and Commissioner Hines has actually personally spoken to her. So we spoke today, but I would like to make the motion for Nika Carter-Young to be placed there.
Nika?
Nika.
Oh, N-I-K-A?
And I'd like to make a comment. She came highly recommended to both of us. She's a professor at Point University. I understand she's done extremely good work with the theater in Manchester, and that she comes with a strong background in grant writing. So I think she'll be a great asset.
She's been very involved with that Vision 2020 for Manchester as well.
Did I get a second on Michelle?
Second.
Okay. And I think we've discussed it any further. Okay. Let's vote on this then. All in favor? I believe that's unanimous. Now we're up to the Board of Health. Number 2, appointment to the Board of Health.
Make a motion to appoint Dr. Victor Lambert.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's vote on Dr. Victor Lambert. Looks like it's unanimous. Appointment to the Board of Health, item 3.
That is, I would like to table that.
Okay. I have a motion to table and I have a second. Okay. At this time, we'll vote. I think that's unanimous also. Now, I believe we're up to item number 4 in the new business, acceptance of warranty deed for Odessa Dale Fire Station location. Were there any comments there, Mr. Gay?
2-acre tract of land that was negotiated for fire station location at Odessa Dale. Everything's been closed on the property, and we just asked that the board accept the warranty deed. Appreciate everybody's help in acquiring the property, Mr. Gregory, others, and again, we recommend acceptance. This is a great location for this fire station.
Do I hear a motion to accept this warranty deed?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Then I'll call for the vote. Looks like it's passed with flying colors there. Misdemeanor probation agreement with CSS. Explain that one, Mr. Gay.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I will. This is actually just a small addendum. The contract is already in existence and it's running. What they were asked to do was to go and just clarify a few points. Number one, that their staff has to obtain a high school diploma or equivalent. They were asked that they have a surety bond on their staff of at least $25,000. They actually already have 50. They also asked to clarify the pay-only issue, and because they have certain probationers who are not required to come in and do anything other than just make that payment, and so they do collect that. The other issue that they wanted, and I think this is certainly good for the county, what they've had is an on-running sort of contract. They just renew year after year. Now they will not allow them to do that. So this contract, in essence, goes to a 1-year contract, and it will expire, and then, of course, from there, it'll automatically renew under the same conditions unless there's written notice. So what we actually now have is an opportunity to, if you're not satisfied with the service, at the end of the contract or before the contract expires, you have an opportunity to say, hey, we want to renegotiate this or whatever. So some of these things are certainly good for us. It's really a matter, primarily this is just an addendum, and I would suggest that we look at this again as we get into the fall. If there's any questions, relating to the contract that exists, and then this gives us an opportunity to raise those issues and renegotiate if need be.
But you're wanting us to amend at this time?
Yes, sir. I want to ask you guys to approve the addendum to the contract. And there's one for magistrate, one for probate, and one for superior court. So there's 3 of these addendums that will need to be approved and executed.
Do I hear a motion to approve the 3 addendums so named?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
We're up to number 6 here, approved resolution for new workers' compensation program through ACCG-GSIWCF.
This is something I called and talked to the board members about. This was the low proposal we had received. The other proposals were considerably higher. We needed to go ahead and move forward with this. So this is really paperwork keeping up with what we've already talked about. This is to provide workers' comp, and we're changing the provider to the Association of County Commissioners of Courts.
Very good. I need a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay, stop right here. Point of discussion.
Just want to add that
by getting into ACC, that will allow us on down the road to be able to participate in the dividends that
That's right.
they have, similar to the liability insurance dividends. So this, as long as they can hold their price, this is a good program to be in.
And if there's dollars that are not expended, those do come back in return.
In fact, when we left this program years ago, I don't know what it was, but we cashed in $7,000 or $8,000 in dividends at that time.
Okay, I have a motion and a
The
second.
reason to go for this though was because our workman's comp was going up.
It was our theory for last year, wouldn't even quote us this time.
Yeah, and so with that said, I don't, you can't always help those things, but we just got to be diligent in trying to get these workman's comp things resolved and
This was a
hopefully not even happen in the first place, but.
Yeah, $57,000 decrease over what our last year's provider was going to do.
Okay, again, we have a motion to approve and a second. We simply need to vote on the resolution of the new workers' compensation program. All in favor? So passes. Looks like we're up to number 7. Confirm and sign the paperwork for the new ACCG-Irma Firefighters Cancer Benefit.
This is part of the same program that I spoke to you guys about. We have to provide this under House Bill, I think 146, got to become effective January 1 of 2018. And this was through ACCG as well. And it insures Hartford Life and Insurance. That was worked through ACCG, I think, as well.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much the technicalities, what you're saying.
Right, this is the same thing. This is paperwork catching up with what we've already talked to you guys about and put in place.
Do I hear a motion to confirm, and I assume that's a chair sign?
Yes, sir.
For the paperwork for the new ACCG Firefighters Cancer Benefit?
I make a motion to confirm and for the chair to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Number 8, to accept the right-of-way deeds for the Max Scott Road and Judson Bullock Road.
Chairman, Commissioners, you have those in your packet. The only one that's not been executed yet, because we're still working on the language, is the Hicks deed. There's both a deed and a temporary construction easement with that. I'm going to call them back today. My recommendation would be to accept the other deeds for Max Scott and Justin Bullock Road, and that way they will be in the records of the county. And this is for right-of-way and easements necessary for replacement of the culverts in those two.
So what happens about the one for the Hicks?
I'm going to go ahead and call him, and I'll bring that back at a later date as soon as we have it executed. I have modified that. He wanted us to reduce the right-of-way into a smaller right-of-way footprint and also use the balance of it as a permanent construction easement. So we recalculated that, sent those deeds back out, and they wanted to look at them and kind of tweak them a little bit, and so not responding back. Yes, that's right. Both of them are attorneys.
Both of them are attorneys,
Yeah.
you're right.
So they're probably still tweaking, but I'm going to call them today because I hate to go ahead and get it squared away.
Obviously.
Yeah, they're nice. I mean, I've talked to
Yes, they
them,
are.
but they want their own little signature on it too. So,
Do I hear a motion to accept the right-of-way deeds that have been prepared?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. Ordinance 2018-01 is our firearms discharge ordinance. We review for the second reading, but I understand we're going to table. Is that correct?
Chairman, I'm requesting a table. This is actually the first reading. We've still got some tweaking to do on that. We actually have a meeting after this meeting to try to finish out the that's appropriate.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. I have a recommendation to table. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? So passes. The number 10, I think I'm there. Approved resolution and set qualifying fees for the 2018 election. Mr. Gay, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Ready, except for the one I still have to clarify, and I'm gonna check to see if I got an email. Each year, the governing authority is required to set and publish the qualifying fees. And Patty, I think Patty's still here, she's sent us a notice of this. We have calculated these. They're based upon 3% of base salary. So calculated these for the magistrate judge and 3 county commission posts that we have that are this year. But the board of election that you see here is the $90. That carries over from the previous years, and we're trying to confirm, because it should be 3% of the gross salary that they earned last year. And what we're trying to do with the school system is confirm what that is. So I would ask the board to approve this and understand there might be a slight change in the Board of Education. And then once we get that confirmation, we'll send it, and Patty is going to advertise that in the paper. Has to go into the paper before February 1st.
What I'm hearing is I need a motion to approve the resolution and set the qualifying fees under the condition that we will get the correct salaries from the Board of Education.
That's right, where we can verify, and these may very well be right, but I would like to be sure that they are before we do anything else with it.
Could you read what the magistrate judge and the commission qualifying fee will be?
Yes, we've got those already. We've got those already. Okay, here we go, let's see. This is the information from the school board, but I'm going to have to, they have a per diem rate, it's kind of odd, I'm going to have to work on that a little bit. So it will go up ever so slightly, that $90 will change, but I would ask that you approve the other two, and then I'll confirm what the amount for the education.
Then I need a motion to approve the resolution set qualifying fees for the 2018 election. And y'all heard the criteria for the education.
Can you actually read what that fee will be?
Yes, magistrate judge, $1,491.65, and the county commission, $249.
Thank you.
Okay, I know I had a motion, did I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? I think we need to vote on that. All in favor? Okay. It looks like we're up to number 11, renewal of loan, United Bank, and authorization for chairman signatures.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we had made a loan amount to be able to buy some trucks, and it was really a 3-year process that we were going to do. However, the bank has come back and said, well, what we'd like you to do is to just simply renew that every year, pay off the loan, turn around, and we'll loan you the balance of that. There's no cost for doing that. I think it just allows them to be able to clear their books and get it off the record and start over. So that's the way they want to be able to handle it. It's just a matter of us paying and turning and taking it back out. No extra charges for that. So we would recommend approval of that.
Mr. Chair, I have a question on that.
Sure.
So this is just for their paperwork, but then are the interest rate staying the same?
Yes.
I mean, so they're locking us in, so it's just a matter of technicality on their part? All right.
It's just, I guess, clearing their books for the calendar year.
So that locks it in for each time, every time they do it, it's going to, is there's a contract saying that they're not going to increase?
I think that's what the original contract is.
The original contract?
The proposal they made, they stated that there would be no renewal fees in the education.
I just said, that was my first question. Renewal fees, but you said there would not be.
Well, y'all heard that information. It sounds like they're posturing for the banking thing. They're wanting to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the period, we're going to pay the same thing we would have paid if it had just been a 3-year period. But they want it to be where, I guess, they close it out every year, is the only thing I can
Paperwork.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand paperwork, but I want to make sure that the paperwork and the documentation doesn't change anything, and that we are still not obligated at the last minute, because sometimes in fine print, there's always something a little different.
That's right.
Do I hear a motion, we review the loan with United Bank?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Any further discussion, folks? Then I call for a vote. Looks like it passes. The next item is the Lake Meriwether recommendation. And I will go ahead and explain that one to you. We met last night, and we have been looking at our rates that we charge there at Lake Meriwether. There are some other rates that are probably going to go up when we get additional facilities. We talked about that with the addition of the bathrooms and the dock, a couple other things that are going to add to it. But right now, there's only two recommendations. We wanted to make the trailers, the camping trailers, night from $15 to $20 per night. And we also wanted to adjust Mr. Roberts' salary to $750 per month. And that, I think we can make that in one motion, can we not? Do I hear a motion? Well, just take that as your motion. I move that we raise the camping fee from 15 to 20 from motorized vehicles and adjust Mr. Roberts' salary to $750 per month.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is his role, Mr. Robert, to be exact?
What his role is basically caretaker of the facility there. He actually does quite a bit. Not only is he there during the day to collect the fees, position the people, he also comes out at night a lot of times to put people there. Anything concerning that facility that needs repair, needs attention, Mr. Robert does that or calls us and lets us know when something needs to be done.
Like reservations.
Reservations, everything he does is.
And fishing.
Fishing, he looks after that, he collects some money. Actually, if you've never looked at this, during and Bill, you'll have to help me. During the summer months, I know we collect upwards to $1,000 a month down there, don't we?
I don't remember offhand how much it is.
For fishing fees, camping fees, that sort of thing.
And what was his price salary?
500.
Yeah, I think it was 500.
And I think.
Pretty much goes 7 days a week.
Yeah,
It
he
is,
said it breaks down to about $10 a day. And I think if you divide it out, the 500 out by the 30 days a month, which I'm sure he's there, it does work out to $16 a day.
So
before tax.
he's there for every holiday.
He is.
If he's not, he calls us and lets us know, I can't cover the holiday.
He does it for the love of the lake, but I think he's going to know.
I also have a question.
Sure.
When the board met, in your discussion, why did you all come with such a small amount of your increase? I mean, that $20, is it comparable to the other areas?
Precisely. We had a list there of things that was being offered, and we felt that was the one that was kind of an outlier. It was further out than anything else. But after we make the new improvements down there, we've got others we're going to have to come back and adjust also.
It just seems low.
We don't
To be
have
honest,
any,
$20 just to come and park your RV and fish and all of that, you're not gonna make a lot of money off of it, but it's a relatively small amount. And I'm sure they were generating enough money to pay his salary, apparently.
We do.
But are we generating enough money to do the offset of the other things that we need to do out there? I don't see where it's not gonna be a big money-making thing, but $20, if that's what the board voted on and that's what their recommendation. But once again, I still personally think that's pretty low.
They also talked about, Mr. Chairman, if I'm correct, and you remember the meeting, but they also talked about increasing that yet again, once they get the dump stations and everything done and better electrical hookups. Because right now, while it's RV, it's still a pretty limited high. So I think they're going to increase it again. And I think some of the other areas are 30, 35. And I think once they get the full amenities there, I think you guys are going to really work.
Yes, and you don't have sewage and you don't offer a dump station. That's, $20 is really not unheard of for a basic campsite.
FDR State Park charges $35, and they've got the full hookups.
All the amenities.
All the
right.
amenities.
It's just clarification.
Yes.
That's what I need. Unfortunately, I wasn't there at the meeting. Once again, and I'm sure for the constituents here, they too might want a little bit more information on how you came up with that decision.
I'm going to say, I think I had a motion in a second. Or did we have a second? I'm sorry.
No, we did not.
I need a second, okay. At this time, then, is there further discussion upon the Lake Meriwether rate change? Then I'll call for a vote. All in favor? So passes. The next item on our agenda is the, goodness, the public. Non-public, I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing, y'all forgive me.
Mr. Chairman.
Non-public, Three Rivers.
Mr. Chairman, we've been notified by Three Rivers that it's time to reappoint the non-public member to the council of the Three Rivers Regional Commission. These are for 1 year only, and Ms. Baker Dew is the non-public member for our county. I think she's done a really good job. I think she serves as secretary to the group and some others, and would like to ask that it be considered for her to be.
And I have talked with her, and she definitely wants to do it if we would reappoint her. But she does do a good job, and the Three Rivers Board actually would like to have her back, and she does have a leadership role there.
And I think that was in form of a motion, right?
Yes.
I need a second for Ms. Baker Dew to fill this position.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion about Ms. Baker? All in favor? So passes. I think we've covered every item that we had there. Is that correct, Mr. Bates?
Yes, there's one other item that I don't think we got that on the agenda, and we probably need to either be able to bring that back, and that is appointment to the Board of Assessors. And I thought that was on the list, but that was my fault.
So at this time, we'll have to do it next meeting?
We do it next meeting.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I should have.
Our negligence there. Okay. The next item is a report from our finance director, Mr. Bill.
Chairman, you got the reports in front of you. The county bank account balances are listed there. The general fund is at 3.9 million, which is pretty healthy this time of year, so we're pleased with that. The rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. We'll move the 1,000 in the 911 account over to the general fund as we need to. Do have a large amount in the DFAX capital account, and that's the money that we're required by the state to put in a separate account to do renovations to the building as they want them done. And they've approached us, Darren and I, about doing some cosmetic renovations in that building. There's plenty of money there to do it. I'd rather spend the money than then get interest on it. Any questions on that report?
I do.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
Going back to the DFAX money for the renovation, is this something that they personally do, bring their own engineers in, or is this because it's a county building?
The building belongs to us, so we take the lead on anything done to the building.
And so has there been any discussion of what that's going to look like, the expansion? Anything of that
It's not expansion, it's really just maybe renovate the bathrooms in there and just painting and new carpet and flooring and that kind of stuff.
Just kind of routine.
It's the last time it was renovated was back in 1997, I think. So it needs to be. Yeah.
I notice we still have a healthy balance in that landfill.
Yes, sir, we had forgot about that.
Okay, you have not?
Still want to talk about that.
I think that would come into.
You may continue, Mr. Bill.
Once the board makes a decision on, other landfills, transfer stations, whatever, I think we can access that money to cover any costs that are incurred.
Good point.
Y'all have talked about doing that.
Okay, the other report is just the property tax analysis as of December 31st. Collections on the 2017 tax digest are almost 80%, which is pretty good for this time of the year. We are required by Department of Revenue to be at 95 before the next digest is submitted. So, I'm in contact with the tax commissioner to be a bug in her ear that they need to achieve that goal. There is still 20% outstanding on the, 20% outstanding, and on the 2016, we're at almost 97. We'd really like to get that up to 99, as you see the previous years are. And the second sheet is the two fire district and fire line collections. course, they're 80% is like regular address.
Right.
Any questions on those?
Any questions for you?
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay.
Almost called you Madam Chair.
Yes, stop.
We'll get used to that over time, maybe. Any questions to Mr. Bill on anything he just presented? Okay. At this time, Mr. Gay, you have the floor, sir, as our administrator.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I just wanted to mention the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. That meeting's been set for January 18th at 4 o'clock. We'll meet here in this room, and Three Rivers should be sending everyone some information about that. And we have actually gone out and had the comprehensive plan and the short-term work program and our service delivery strategy printed, and we will be providing copies of that. I think we've sent that out. I know Doug has mentioned being involved in it, but we would like to have the city staff and the county staff all here as support staff for that. So our kickoff meeting will be January the 18th at 4 p.m. And at that point in time, the committee can plan their future meetings. So that should be ready to go. Everything's been sent out on that. Friday, I'm going to GDOT Aviation Atlanta to talk to them about our airport projects and discuss that. And I'll give you guys some more detail once we finish that meeting. Wanted to mention that, as many of you know, Pete Scandalakis, the district attorney, had resigned his position and taken another position. And in the interim, Monique Kirby is going to be the acting district attorney. And she has indicated she is not going to be seeking election for that position. So she's going to be serving just purely as the acting until either the governor or takes action to appoint someone. And I think the election's probably coming up here in the not too distant future.
Is
So
it
I think,
November? Yes, when that one would be up to, I believe.
let's see, it's effective.
May. Well, you qualified May. Election is.
I'm sorry, well, maybe have the election.
Yeah, it just says it's been duly appointed by the governor in accordance with provisions, or it is up for election.
Isn't it every 2 years?
I think so.
4 years.
So I don't know whether it's on the 18th
There will be a
cycle.
special election to fill that seat.
There will be a special
So we got
election.
to pay for a special election.
It'll be held, I believe, it says it at the general election.
Oh, okay, all right, well, good.
So for the general election in November?
You should just put it back.
Oh, it's gonna be on the ballot.
I'm not gonna interpret that for you, I'm just gonna decide what the general election is.
I got you.
Hopefully it will be. This doesn't indicate any times or whatever other than Ms. Kirby.
Where's Miss Kirby from?
She is from the range, she's been his assistant attorney for a long, long time.
Was that everything?
Got one more thing. I wanted to mention the fire stations. We are nearing the end of the design of the stations. And my hope would be, I'd like to shoot for your next meeting to be able to present those designs and take a look at getting our bids out. And we'll be looking at the first 4, and then of course the next 4 will go much, much quicker because we've already got the design. So, wanted to mention that, and that's all I have.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Mr. Gay.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Gay, in reference to the fire station, I know as far as the actual buildings and the equipment, we've got a lot of things in place. It's taken longer than we anticipated, but we kind of understand why. What have we started putting things in place as far as the personnel? As far as the job descriptions, the pay scales, have we started looking, or are we in the process of addressing that?
We are in the process of addressing that. Chief has been, he's been working on that aspect of it.
The main thing we're doing right now is rewriting
Thank you.
job descriptions, actually for the entire department.
revamping, I think, all of our job descriptions out of date, going back to 2010. So we're starting basically over with that project. And once we do that, and it's kind of a redesign of the department, actually, and once we establish that, we'll use that as our platform to go to the rest. We have not started the hiring process or set rates of pay. That's all kind of, I think, still. One of the problems is not knowing an exact completion date for the build-out. We don't know when we can house them and put them to work, so.
Well, I'm not so much worried about that as I am that we do have a policy manual that addresses what are your criterias, you know, what is your educational background, what is our level of increasing, you know, pay scale, you know, the whole 9 yards, something in writing. This is a big venture for us. We're going to have some people who are volunteer firefighters that may want to become full-time.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, what is your criteria for a captain versus, I don't know your industry, but like any industry,
Right.
there's definite defined positions and guidelines. Unfortunately, there has been, for the history of Meriwether County, not documentation
Right.
of job descriptions and pay scale. And I just don't want us to be caught up into something where we could have dealt with this ahead of time.
Well, we recently tackled the job description aspect of that, and we hope to be through by the end of this month with the entire department's job descriptions.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things that need to be updated for current positions.
Okay.
The addition of the new ones. And then we'll use, like I said, we'll use that as a platform to springboard into the other aspects of this, setting pay scales and other things that are still kind of yet to materialize.
Because it can come really quick. And I just, you know, I just want to make sure that we're in a position when we are ready to advertise or whatever we're going to do, that we have something in writing, something very consistent and, you know, across the
Yes, ma'am. To be honest with you, it's going to be quite simple. As far as requirements go, these things can be met before time. In other words, if they're already qualified and trained, we can put them right to work. But we're also going to have, I anticipate having to train these people and bring them up to that level. In other words, their hire will be conditional upon achieving certain goals within their employment within the first year, which is typical. So we have some options there to be flexible. I don't know that there will be requirements. It won't be too stringent, but you know, it'll be something that I think the door will be open to many who are interested. It won't be it's not going to be like an exclusionary process where, you know, most people who are interested will have a shot. And we hope to show preference actually to our current roster and to people who live in the county.
Thank you.
One other note on that, I think the trucks, in terms of the equipment, I think the vendor has sent out a invitation to come and view and to go over and talk about plans prior to the starting of the construction of the units. So that process is moving forward as well.
And one other thing is, as we go into this agreement with ACCG, which is a mandated thing for the firefighter cancer benefit, as we bring on, whether I don't know whether this is for full-time, part-time, I hadn't had a chance to look at it, but once again, how will this affect our, I don't want to say benefits, but as we bring on the full-time, part-time and all of that, you know, I guess I'll take the time to see how this breaks it down, but once again, that we'll be in a position, I mean, we have it, but we want to make sure that the program that we have through them is going to meet our needs.
It'll have to be added as we.
Yeah, I think that's
Commissioner Brown.
Yes, can you reconfirm the total number of jobs that will be available for full-time and part-time?
I would say a minimum of 21, but approximately, I think, in all likelihood, when we're done, 23 to 25 positions. Basically, what it'll do for our department is probably double the size of it.
And you stated that the employee will not have to have prior experience?
Depending on the job level and description, the position they're going to meet, we can take somebody, if there's somebody who wants to go into this field that is, say, from our area and we really like that person, we can take them from scratch. If they're 18, they can come straight out of high school. We can get them trained and put them to work. And there are options. In fact, one of the challenges is going to be figure out the best way to do that, whether we do that in-house or send them to the state to be trained, but there are a lot of flexibility options with that also.
Mr. Chair, I have another question. So can this be part of the pathway, not pathway, is that the word, the partner in education? Could this be one of those tracks
It used to be. I don't know if it still is or not. It did used to be a part of
You know,
Partners in Ed.
the Partners in Ed, where they have these different tracks where kids are in high school can start looking at this career. Because the biggest challenge for not just Meriwether County, but rural counties as a whole, is making it viable for young people to stay in your county and look at it as a potential career. So, and we know right now our workforce is very, not old, but aging. And so, one of the things I would like to see, if this program is no longer active, maybe to have that discussion with the Partners in Ed.
You know, we did some meeting last year with the West Georgia Technical College folks, and they were very interested in wrapping up their programs, I think, all across the board in this area. But one of the programs they wanted to look at and kind of create a cooperative effort with us about would be a program to go into public safety, various aspects of public safety. So, and I think that not just fire, but, you know, police and other things like that. That has not yet materialized to my knowledge, but there is a program. In fact, we've done that locally too, on an informal level, where we've had junior firefighters,
Right.
I guess, so to speak.
Right.
And we've got them, there have been a few recently where they were trained and had the, you know, knowledge and some of the training to go. When they turned 18, we put them before a testing state proctor, and they were able to test and within a few months go to firefighting. Now that was a volunteer situation, they didn't go to employment, but in other words, it was a fast track for them because we got them in early. They were extraordinarily rare young men, in my opinion, but they were of high caliber and dedicated and had a great discipline that, in my opinion, you don't always see in some of the kids today, but they were exceptional kids and they fast tracked and were firefighting as of 18, at the age 18, so it was impressive to see them go through this. And actually an asset to the departments in a lot of areas. They bring new enthusiasm and charisma to the department, kind of rejuvenates the entire department.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions for Chief Pinenberg?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me. I'd like to ask a question.
Joe will allow it. Go ahead.
I noticed it took a couple $100 more out of my taxes, and I feel like this should be my privilege. And a lot of people ask me, when is the construction going to start? I mean, when are you going to start building these fire stations? Like, they got an area in Long, one in Nuclear, I know. So when is the construction going to start? A lot of folks ask
Just
me.
as soon as we can get them out there, Joe, there was so much red tape
All right.
and going through the different agencies this year that we didn't anticipate how long it was going to take.
Okay.
But just shortly, you're going to see something shovel-ready coming out of the ground.
Okay.
You know where yours is at, right? You're in Granville, right? So you know where it's at? All right, good.
We'll start construction this spring. Spring is what I'm getting here for the official start.
All right, good. I can tell some people now, son. I don't know, you know.
Okay. That's good. Thank you for your comment. Thank you, Chief Heidenberg. Any questions of Mr. Okay, we're ready to move on here to a report from our county commissioners. Commissioner Bray, we're going to lead off with you.
I'd just like to take the opportunity to wish everyone a happy new year, and it would be a pleasure for me to serve you in the year of 2018. I look forward to it. That's it.
That's it. Commissioner Neely Hadley.
Happy New Year again to everyone. Appreciate everyone being here today and looking forward to a great 2018.
We certainly appreciate you all being here and apologize for it taking so long to get through this first session. I didn't realize it was going to take quite this long. But you did. Let me apologize. Let me just apologize in advance for my shortcomings because you will see several.
You had a lot of help there.
I did, I really did. But anyway, I thought it went quite good. And one thing that you probably all noticed that this winter, this severe winter, if we don't have another cold day, folks, we've already had a winter. And I had people calling on the roads wanting gravel, and I thought, as I drove over some of them, these roads are as hard as a brick. What's gravel going to do? But anyway, that's kind of how it went. And again, I will try to prepare myself to be even better or ready for the role that I'm cast in here. So
But is that why that cold weather's coming back Sunday?
Yeah. It's not.
yeah, but you better not keep it for 9 straight days. We'll fire you. Okay. Again, just thank y'all, and I will just go ahead right now. Commissioner Shirley Hines.
Once again, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. 2018 is going to be a fantastic year for us. It's going to be a busy year, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank all the people that are here today to kick off our first meeting. Appreciate your support. Looking out in the audience and see these wonderful faces is a good thing on this end of the podium, on this side. And so I encourage you to come back to our meetings on a regular basis. I know you can't make it to all meetings, but this is how you learn how your government is operating. This is how you learn how you can get involved. I ask that the things that you've heard today, the things that you've seen today, bring it back into your community. When you can't personally make it, always make sure you have a representative, somebody here that can take the information back. And it's not always so second-handed as sometimes tend to be. Just a couple of things also. I am the legislative representative for Meriwether County. This is a big year, election year. This is the governor's race. A lot of state positions are going to be, so we're going to be bombarded with people running for office. So be prepared. But I ask that in that you take your time and really study the issues, the platform that people present to you, so that when you decide to vote, that you're looking at the issues and not so much the individual, but what it is they say they're going to do and capable of doing. So you will get a lot of information regarding that. To the board, I had the opportunity to listen to a webinar about the T-Splosh. If you've not had a chance to listen to that webinar, I encourage that you do. I think it's something that Meriwether County needs to look at. It may not be something we can do this year. Our biggest concern has always been roads. Based on our budget of $13 million, we will not get roads paved just on that budget alone. We're going to have to look at any other resources to do it. The T-Splosh, when it was passed by those who did it on a regional base, just got money flowing like honey, isn't that right? So unfortunately, I would like for us to have that discussion in a work session so that we can talk about how we can position ourselves so that we can have those funds to resurface more roads and possibly even pave some roads. We are 30, 40 years behind time. There's no ifs and buts about it. But unfortunately, and the bridges and everything. And the only way that we're going to be able to address this is we've got to think outside of the box, and we've got to look at other sources. And the T-Splosh has been one of the most effective ways to do it. It can be done now as individual counties, or you can come in together and do it. So I do ask that the board and everyone else takes the time to read that information, and let's have a discussion about that soon in a work session. Also, this is a very interesting book. I love reading this. I kind of read it all the way through. It's called The Georgia Trend. If you ever want to know what's going on in Georgia, please take this and read it. It's electronic, it's digital, I guess that's the best way to say it. So you can pull it up online. I like to indicate that they have this issue, the 100 most influential Georgians. And I'm proud to say that one of our own, Robert Bob Trammell Jr. is in the book. So take the time to read about him. He is now the minority leader for the General Assembly. And so they kicked off their 40-day session Monday. So once again, I will bring back to you all the information that they discussed so that we could be knowledgeable of it. One of the bills that is being considered and under rural development is bringing some incentive to get people to move into rural counties. Georgia has 159 counties and 124 of those are rural, which means they have a population less than 30,000 people, and the population is getting smaller. So with the upcoming census, it's going to be very important that we stay in tune with what's going on the legislative level. One of the things they mentioned was, I don't know if the word abatement or incentive for people with their property tax. We can't handle that. So I'm going to make sure that whatever being said and discussed, that this information is brought back. It not only affects the county, it affects the cities. So I'm going to ask that the cities too stay abreast with this information, because once they pass these laws and they become mandated, there's nothing we can do. we're gonna have to make the adjustment. But we can be a part of that discussion, because when you think of rural Georgia, North Georgia is rural, South Georgia is rural, and they're two different elements. And it's not one fit all. So I just wanna make sure you're aware of that. My other thing is, I still have concerns about our logging in the county. I'm very disappointed that some are still leaving red mud and logging under bad conditions. So I'm asking for a workshop with our loggers. I know once before there was a meeting and it didn't go quite so well. But you gotta stay communicating, you gotta stay talking so everyone's on the same page. So Mr. Gay and I have talked about this, and we're going to meet with the Forestry Commission this week, and then after that, I would like this board to put together a work session where we can talk to our loggers, because once again, they are a part of the revenue that comes to this county. But then on the other hand, you know, our roads is what I get majority of my calls on, and we put a lot of money in the Gold Mine Road, and you've heard me talk about Gold Mine Road several times. I had to call in again because of Gold Mine Road. So apparently it's something that he or she is not hearing from us. And so maybe we need to look at our ordinance, look at how effective we can enforce some of the rules that we have, because it is an issue, right along with littering.
And I'll say our staff, Tyrell yesterday, for example, called me, had an issue with some logging. I think took the initiative to go ahead and get that squared away, and they needed some gravel down, not only on the entrance, but also the road itself. And so we worked with Ron and addressed that. And I called Ron the other day about issues been reported on Gold Mine. I know it was an immediate response back out. I understand they got out and did that. The issue is they should do that without us having to tell them.
Well, Ron, you can let the loggers know in District 1, I ride my roads. So if they're going to not be in compliance, let them know. They already know. Well, my reputation is seen. All right. I'm sorry, but I do have a couple more things. Upcoming events. The school board has, and one day hopefully Mr. Dixon can come in and explain their marketing and PR. The school board has brought in a marketing firm called BOC, and they're going to be working with the school board regarding the image and that the school board has, or the school district has. And so they are implementing a lot of new programs that I think will be very attractive for the county, and not just for the school, but the county as a whole, and we've committed to work with them. One of the things they're doing now is a ministry and community leader breakfast. They do it once a month. I think it's going to be the third Saturday in every month. I encourage you to participate in this. I did attend the one they had last month. I think there was maybe about 15, 20 people. It was just an awesome event. Once again, it takes a village to raise children. It's going to take community leaders, our faith, our elected officials to all come together and have the best impact on the growth of Meriwether County. I know everybody can't be involved in everything, but there's enough in this county where you can volunteer your time, your skills, your expertise. So if this is one, I encourage you to come and be a part of that. The last thing, and I've really had to pause on this one. I want to say, for those who want to know why I took my name off as vice chair, please come. I'll be glad to share with you on a one-on-one basis. But I'm a woman of principle, and I feel that it's important to do things decent and in order. So if you want more explanation, I'll be glad to give it to you on a one-on-one. But I do also want to say this is a wonderful board, and we've done a lot in the past 3 years, and I'm looking forward to what we can do and will do in 2018. Having titles doesn't necessarily mean you won't get the work done, or you have to have a title to get the work done. However, but I still feel this board is probably one of the best boards that's already been stated in Meriwether County in quite some time. And we're going to continue to put this county first. I'm going to continue to put this county first. And I'm going to continue to do what I've always done, is bring resources and bring people together so that we can move Meriwether County forward. thank you for all those who came out. And I want to thank people in District 1 for supporting me as well as you have. This is an upcoming election. Still contemplating. So they said the qualifying fee, just in case if someone do want to run for District 1, is $249. And qualifying is in March. That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hines. County Attorney, Barrister Susan.
I'd just like to thank the board for giving me another opportunity to serve the citizens of Meriwether County as your county attorney for another year. It is going to be a good and exciting year, and I agree with what Commissioner Hines just said. This is an amazing board. Just a quick story, when I took this job initially, I had a judge in Muskogee County tell me, "You sure you want to go work in that county?" And then when I met the board, obviously it was a different board, and I have never been happier with a decision in my life. With that, bad news is we've got need for a executive session. Good news is it's just some legal issues.
Sure. Well, with that being said, we're up to the period for public comment. Is there any public commenters at this time? Well, nobody seems to be moving. We thank you for being here. I would like to move down and quickly, since some of you may be gone before we come out of the executive session, and look at the future meetings. One, I would like to mention personally, the PIE meeting, Partisan Education meeting, will be 10 o'clock next Tuesday over at West Georgia Technical.
Excuse me, it's going to be at DFAX.
They moved it to DFAX?
It's in conjunction with Family Connection meeting.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Mr. Cady. I just talked to Miss Carolyn and she I said, I just talked to Miss Carolyn and she failed to tell me we had changed the location.
She probably confirmed the time.
Oh, okay.
What is the time?
10 o'clock. There's been no change on the time. Okay. And if you notice on our future meetings and notices, we will be recognizing January the 15th, I jumped ahead, Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and January the 23rd, we will have a work session at 4:30, and on that same day, our regular meeting will be 6 p.m.
Chairman, on that work session, what I would like to do, if it's all right with the board, is one of the topics is I would like to talk about programs, goals that we want to do in 2018. And with that, I'd love to be able to get feedback from the board. I know there's certain things that we've already talked about, but I'd like to have more formal conversations. So, sorry with the board, we'll put that together as one of the topics.
Well, at this time, I guess we need to go into executive session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Ms. Beverly?